Well, I don't know. Maybe I learn more. What?
You know what's funny? I can remember way back when in
1800s, yeah.
fuck off. Back in school, where one of my teachers that
With
was
Captain
actually
Abacus.
talking about. Stop. Oh my God, you're
I'm
still
done.
talking.
I'm done.
Yeah, sure you're done. I don't believe you. There is no done with
Oh,
you.
there's no done with me now.
Yeah. No, I remember one of my teachers actually talking about this sort of the infancy of the internet, and that there was like, you know, it was basically dial-up on your phone access, and you know there was no really bandwidth, and you had time limits, so many time limits. So he was talking about, yeah, you can like do searches for stuff, but he said, you know, you wanna know exactly what you're searching for, get your search parameters down, so that when you do go on and you're searching for these things, so you know what you're doing, you spend as little time as possible doing it.
Yeah.
So I remember having that conversation with him way back when, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What?
What's the internet?
I don't even think he called it that. I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, like a lot of people don't even
No,
know
I'm
like that.
and it's not the 1800s. Thank you.
The the internet's been like around a hell of a lot longer than people actually realize.
Yeah.
funny
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly. So yeah.
I always find that funny. Like people don't actually realize how old it actually is. Like it was like, I think it was actually invented like in the 1940s, like during like the World Wars and things like that. Like the first initial like networking of computers.
When a lot of people that are watching the stream probably don't know this either, and my father-in-law talks about it a fair bit, because he used to run at the university here, in the University of Western Ontario. He used to run in the lab, the computer lab, and they had like one of the first computers in there. And what you had to do in order to run something is put cards through. You'd have these cards that you'd punch out holes in, and that would be your program. Have a box of cards. These professors would bring boxes of cards in, and he would have to run them through the computer.
Yeah.
It's like, he was telling me the other day that he had this one professor who would always watch him with an eagle eye, right? And he was always after him to do his stuff first. So what he did one day was he took another box of cards that were not his. They weren't punched, but it looked exactly like his box. So he put that. He kind of mixed them up a little bit, so the professor didn't know. He obviously wasn't watching him that carefully enough. And then what he did was, acting as though the box that he replaced, the one that just had blank cards, he pretended that was his, and he knocked it on the floor, and all the cards all over the place, because they have to be in a certain order.
Yeah.
They have to be in that particular order. So he knocked them all over the floor, and he said the look on the professor's face was like, just shock, right? Oh my God. And he probably hated him after that. That's probably why he doesn't work there anymore.
How did you lose your job? Well.
Yeah, exactly. I messed around with his douchebag professor.
It's a funny story for me.
Yeah, exactly. And who else? Actually, this is kind of a story too. Who else remembers when the power went out, like pretty much East Coast of North America, however many years ago?
Better kill me good, you sorry.
Because we lost power. I don't know how long. Was it like a week or something? Like the whole half of North America, I think. Was it? Lost power for like.
Still power grid, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a huge power grid outage. That was crazy. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, don't doubt.
Because I was working out of town. We were working out of town that day. We were in a plant. I used to do programming, automation programming. So we were in a manufacturing plant, like probably 2 hours from where I live, and we finished what we were there to do, and we were driving back, and we went on to there was a highway we went on to, and we were in this one town, and we were just going onto the highway, and we noticed that the lights were out, like the power had gone out.
Yeah.
And then we were probably about half an hour on this highway to another town, and then we get in there, to connect with another highway, and then we noticed that the power was out there too. And I'm like, well, okay, this is not good because two cities that are pretty far apart from each other both are out.
Yeah.
And then you turn on the radio, and it's like, okay, radios are out. Oh, look, my cell phone, no service because the towers are out. Everything's out, right? So it was like kind of scary. And we were running on empty, even the gas stations, because the gas pumps are all electrically, controlled. Yeah, you couldn't even get gas. You couldn't even get gas at any of the gas stations. And we were almost on empty. We figured that we were going to pick up gas when we got into that town. So we had to drive along, and we finally, realized, I think maybe there was a couple of the AM radio stations, maybe, I'm not sure, but we stopped to talk to people, and they said, yeah, the power's out like freaking half of North America or whatever. So we had to drive around in a subdivision, and there was a guy cutting his lawn, and we had to ask him if we can get gas from him to put in the truck so we can get back to our shop. So it was pretty crazy. And finally got home after that, and it was like, power was out for however many days. Good thing it was in the middle of winter. It was actually in the summer, so that was all right.
Strength in numbers is all you got going.
But do you guys in the chat? Do you guys all remember that? Like, what were you doing there? What were you doing then? What were you doing when that happened?
It's one of the kind of landmark events. It's like, what were you doing when 9/11 happened and things like that?
Yeah. Oh, I remember that exactly too. Well, you do remember those things too.
Oh yeah, it's
obviously
like
a significant event.
Yeah, locked in your brain. Because I remember, because it was at work, and we would you drive around in vans inside the plant.
You ready to spawn in?
Yep.
Okay.
You drive around the plant in these vans, and like laborers were driving around, and this guy, one of the laborers, is like, "There's been some kind of terrorist attack in America." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Just kidding. Well, I just gonna one of the moments like that was all we got. Like it was just some kind of terrorist attack, and it was just that way. We're like, okay, well, it's happened before, so it's unfortunate, but like, and it wasn't until I actually got home. Like
well,
then
it wasn't. I guess people assume that.
Hmm.
Like people just assumed it was like a terrorist attack.
Yeah, they didn't expect the scale of it.
No, yeah, exactly, and that's probably the first thing you'd think, especially, yeah.
Yeah, and it was that way. I was once we got home, I remember the fact that this was like, I got home from work, and it was on the news. Like I got dragged into the living room and like, look at this.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy shit. And I remember it specifically because I got home about 10 minutes before the first tower went down.
Oh, okay.
And that's why it sticks in my brain so devastatingly, like accurate. Because it was that. It was literally, I got home from work, like hearing about, thinking it was just something small. To watch one of these skyscrapers come down, you're just like, holy shit.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the, sorry, I thought you were talking about the power thing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's how it sticks in my head.
I said it wasn't a terrorist attack, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking about the power thing.
Yeah, no. Let's like confusion.
Yeah, that. Well, I remember. What did I have on? I don't know. I can't remember if the wife was on, but I had the TV on, and it was because I was working from home that day, and I don't know if I heard about it. I heard about it, and then I turned the TV on, and it was Regis and Kelly that I was watching, and that was after the first plane hit. The first plane hit, because they didn't know what was going on, right? Obviously, one hit, you're not going to make assumptions. It could be an accident, it could be whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's like, fuck, it's okay.
It's significant,
biggest building that you get hit, but and then. They had the camera. They sort of stopped the show. I mean, they were still talking the show, but then obviously all the cameras were on the towers, right? And then the second one came in, and they had the cameras, and they saw it like 100%. And at that point in time, it's like, okay, yeah, there's some serious shit going on here. because you know it's not going to happen twice like that, obviously by accident.
Yeah. No, two separate
then-
towers are not gonna get hit by.
Yeah, and then you know I didn't do any more work that day. I was like fucking glued to the thing and just watching it pan out in real time, where they're just taking every aircraft, bringing every aircraft down, but then you know you got the one that hit the Pentagon, and
Behind the 8-ball, guy.
you know the other one that you know they said that got shot down.
Don't touch me, you
Yeah.
fucking goofy
Yeah.
bastard.
Then you got the other one that was like the United 93 that like the passengers overpowered
You're the
the
one
situation.
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah.
I've got nothing.
Well, I think that's the one. Well, I don't know. They said did they shoot it down or they actually they tried to take it back.
The passengers tried to take it back and basically.
Yeah. Okay. I think they were thinking, or there were some people that were saying that they were
No,
shot down.
no,
But I mean,
yeah.
that's not out of the question though. Like honestly,
Oh yeah.
if you have a plane, yes, it's full of people, you know it's hijacked and it's heading towards like a building like the towers, I think they wouldn't have a choice but to shoot it down.
It's that situation of needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And I know it's not a few people, and it's hard to say it like that. Because
Yeah.
I've spoke to people that have had families that were affected by this situation,
Yeah.
and it's like it's hard. You can't like it's so hard to like just say that. Like you can't say that to them, but and they probably still don't want to understand that, but deep down inside they're probably thinking the same thing.
Hmm.
And it's but yeah, that's that way. It's like like as far as I know, it's like it's the whole situation with like there's like Stinger like SAM launchers on top of the White House, just in case. And
Yeah.
if a plane goes out of range and they don't if you were flying a plane like literally like you and your radio got outed,
Yeah. Yeah.
there'd be jets on you. If you didn't respond to the jets that were beside you, they would shoot you out the sky.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Not a second thought.
Yeah. Well, especially you're flying in a freaking zone that you don't fly in either, right? So.
Come on, I want to see how this
And
turns
you know
out.
what? Honestly, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. The thing is, they timed it. You know, obviously they coordinated what planes they were going to take and from where, obviously. But the timing of when they did it was actually probably, you know, good. Like it could have been a lot worse. Let's put it that way. It could have been a lot worse. Like it was around like just after 9 a.m. or something like that. And these were all like financial buildings that a lot of the people weren't there yet. I mean, they were on their way to work.
Yeah, the financial
Yes, there were,
hadn't started at that point.
thousands of people. Yes, there were thousands of people in that building. There could have been 10 times that number of people.
Yeah.
But it's just insane.
Yeah, I do enjoy documentaries, and I've watched I watch documentary. I pretty much watch a documentary on pretty much anything, especially like historical events. Like I watched one a while back on what was it called? I can't remember. It was basically the worst concentration camp in Germany.
Right.
Like it was considered the worst. Like they were all horrible, but this one was considered the absolute. Basically, if you went there, you were pretty much dead.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was like the terrifying history. But there's no point shying away from these kind of subjects because these things have happened, and there's a chance you never know what's going to happen in the future. It's not the first.
Well, yeah,
thing
that's the
has
thing,
to
though.
repeat
I mean,
itself.
we need to remember that stuff so that it never happens again.
Yeah.
Because if you forget, you know, you need to have that history. You need to prevent that shit from ever happening again.
Yeah.
You know, not that sort of same thing could. Well, I mean, you never know in some of these countries, right? Like, look at what's happening in Russia and Ukraine right now, right?
Well, ethnic cleansing. No, you don't even need to look that far. You look at like Africa. Ethnic cleansing is always going on. Like it's never stops there. There's always and there's civil wars going on in Africa every single day. Like there's regime changes like all the time.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
All right, I'm gonna shoot some of these guys, I guess.
So, no, that's exactly. You don't want to learn from the past, but so you don't repeat it in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. It's just these things. I always like reading. As I say, I'm not a history buff, but I enjoy documentaries, like well researched documentaries. because I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a history buff. I'm not going to go sit there searching the internet. I'm rather like somebody entertain me with information
Mm-hmm.
and just present it to me. I'd rather have that.
Yeah.
And like that's just kind of scary.
So,
Some of the
Billy,
stuff that I've
where the
watched. Like,
fuck are
I
you?
mean, don't get me wrong. I watched some entertaining ones, like The
Yeah.
Life of the Polar Bear kind of thing.
The life of the
Yeah,
polar
like I
bear.
watched
You heard
like
it here
things like
first, ladies and gentlemen.
that
The life of the polar bear.
by Hypermole.
Yeah.
Freaks
The
are
life of
really
the
pulling
mole.
over on me.